Hi, I'm Aniki Nippon. Today I would like to address the people that call themselves spiritual but not religious. More or less, I'd like to really address the people that actually kind of propel this notion of spiritual but not religious. These people include, but are not limited to, Jean Houston, Deepak Chopra, Michael Sarian, Eckhart Tolle, or Ramtha, as they call her, some spiritual guru. And what I want to identify is the techniques in which these people try to employ in order to make their positions more quote-unquote spiritual. They use a lot of different techniques in order to achieve it, and it's more or less psychological techniques that have no bearing on whether or not what they're saying is true, but what it does is it makes people agree to what they're saying by shifting different kinds of language and rhetoric and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be talking about the techniques that they tend to use. One of the things that they use is use of loaded language or loaded definitions. Deepak Chopra in the Nightline Face-Off, which I just recently watched, Does God Have a Future? I'll be putting the link on the sidebar. Deepak Chopra was talking to a theoretical physicist, Leonard Mlodinow, I think is his name, Mlodinow. Anyways, he's writing a book right now with Stephen Hawking, and he defined consciousness as a superposition of possibilities. Now, if you go by that definition, a superposition of possibilities, it doesn't really say anything about the word itself, and it's not a really solid definition. Much less any definition, any word that has a definition like that. For example, God, spirit, soul, all these things are very kind of loosely defined, and for the right reason. I mean, they're very abstract and objective ideas, and not necessarily something that's really solid or describing of wood or something that does exist that's very solid. Anyways, another thing that they use is, what's another example? They try to put these loose definitions of what spirituality is. Spirituality is all good. It's basically framing a certain concept award as good. It's like saying communism is good, socialism is good, capitalism is bad. In the same way that these same people use spirituality or New Age as their prop. New Age is good, new thinking is good, or rebirth is good, spirituality is good, technology is bad, diabolical science is bad, diabolical science is responsible for nuclear technology, disease, chemical warfare, and biological warfare, and weapons, and blah blah blah. Basically, it's just a frame game. Basically, pinning one side as being good and the other side as being really bad. And I'm glad Michael Shermer actually kind of exposed this fact when he was talking about, well, also spirituality is pretty bad in itself if you define it as, well, look at the bombers for the Twin Towers. The Twin Towers bombers were pretty bad, and they felt that they were doing a very spiritual deed by plunging the planes into Twin Towers. They thought they were going to go to heaven and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was in hopes of a reward that they did that, and that I would call as spiritual as well. So it's basically a frame game between good and bad, and it doesn't necessarily represent anything. And the other... the majority of it comes in the form of use of obtuse language, words that are very, very hard to define, and so on and so forth, or loaded language that really doesn't fit. For example, using scientific terms to sort of use in a spiritualist quote-unquote context. So basically saying that, oh, I understand science, but you really don't. You're confusing the two. And that's another tactic that they use, and you can see it from the videos that I'm going to post in the sidebar. But those are just a few of the methods in which people say that they are spiritual but not religious, and how the people that perpetuate this nonsense, the people actually believe this. These are the kinds of things that rhetoric that they listen to, and I hope you enjoy this video. Please rate it 5 stars, and please subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you.